water in there for real? Because
Getting
I
that
feel like you've
test
been in that same.
ball
I
back.
feel like you've been in that same cup all night.
That's because during the break
I
you're not
love
gonna
it.
be
You guys
present.
are so great.
Hey, she said my
Uh,
name, dog. She said my name.
I love it. You guys are so great.
There she go
Dr.
again.
Great.
There she go again. Call me the doctor.
All right, so before we get in the topic, let me list a couple things here. So as you all know, the the Texans fired David Culley. They also fired their offensive coordinator, Jose Calderon. He joined the Cavs front office. Did y'all know that?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What are they calling them? They giving him like a special advisor role or something like that.
Just start
So
out with.
he's in the front office. A report came out the Dolphins saying that they aren't interested in, and this is going to you, BJ. They aren't interested in Deshaun Watson anymore. Maybe they're warming up the Tua. I don't know if that report true, but that's what I read.
Okay.
So
Uh, huh?
what if Brian Flores wanted Deshaun Watson and that's why they let him go?
Hmm.
Mm.
Theory.
They did say for
Theory.
philosophical differences.
They did. They did. The Vegas Raiders fired Mike Mayock. So
Yep.
they lost, they fired John Gruden, and after their season ended, they got rid of Mike Mayock. So they about to be starting over too. Coming
Yep.
off that playoffs, now they about to be starting over. That's weird. Um KD. KD out 4 to 6 weeks, y'all. Sprained MCL. Um I wish Big C was still on here for this one. Browns player was in the news for the wrong reasons. Did you hear about this?
Yeah, he was beating up
Malik
on somebody.
McDowell, defensive lineman.
Beat
He
up on
was
a cop.
arrested. He was so not only did he beat up the deputy, but guess why the cops were called and they went to arrest him?
He was beating up on a
Public
female.
exposure.
What?
Yeah, he
Yeah, in
pulled one of
front
your
of a
numbers,
school.
DJ.
In front of a school. Yeah, it was wasn't it dark though, Duran? It was dark though, right? But still, he
Yeah,
was still in front of a school though.
I think also it was a report that he wasn't like in his right frame of mind or something, like somebody had gave him a drug or something like that.
Yeah. So not only did he get arrested and he assaulted the deputy, but he also getting charged with public exposure.
He ain't
So
gonna be back in
Malik
Well,
Cleveland.
public
McDowell.
exposure could be.
No, he had no
No,
clothes
it
on.
said naked. It said naked. I
Yeah,
read
he
the
had
report.
no
No,
clothes on.
Yeah, he was naked.
no. Public exposure could be I got my clothes off because I got a female in the car and we about to. They could get you for that.
No, he was in front of a school. I didn't read a report where he had a woman with him.
Okay. No, I don't know. I was just
Yeah.
asking.
Yeah, no,
So,
I got
like,
you. I see what you're saying.
yeah.
Hey,
Um
BJ,
What's up?
I know you see my beard and all. You know what I'm saying? I know it's, but you ain't got to tug on yours to, you know.
Yeah.
All right, I'm
I'm
sorry.
like, where the
Continue.
rest of mine? I
oh,
don't know.
wow.
Hey, don't hate Ilias. You ain't got nothing.
Hey, that don't matter right now. But Frank Vogel, he's going to be evaluated on a game by game basis from here on out.
They doing him
What?
wrong, man.
What?
Hey, I'm gonna
It's not
show
his
this comment.
fault.
This what Derek after you just said that, Deron. This what unbelievable.
Listen, listen. It's not his fault they put that awful team together.
It's
Why
not.
they gonna blame him?
It's not. But
He the
somebody
coach,
always
man.
got to take the heat. You know how this goes.
Oh yeah, I guess you're right.
Uh,
Right.
it was a couple trades too. Cam Reddish from Atlanta got traded to the Knicks. Um, and then it was
That's
a
not a
three
bad
team
trade.
trade.
Wait,
Not it's not.
who the Knicks get rid of though?
It's Kevin
Kevin
Knox,
Kevin Knox in the pick.
first rounder, protected.
Yeah, and it was a 3 team trade. Um, Denver
Bobo.
receives Brian Forbes. Boston receives Bobo, PJ Dozier, and San Antonio receive Hernan Gomez, and a second-round protected pick. So,
shout out Cam Reddish.
Shout out to Cam
he's a local
Reddish.
kid from over here, out in Norristown, Pennsylvania. Yeah,
Is Cam Reddish really from Norristown?
Yeah, my son used to play football with his brother, his little brother.
Oh wow, that's
Lower
crazy.
Providence Warriors. Shout out to Lower Providence Warriors.
That's crazy. Okay,
he was the quarterback. Cam Reddish was the quarterback back in those days. But at any rate,
wow,
that's not a bad trade for the Knicks because Cam Reddish is
not a bad trade at all.
Yeah, he's going to come up a little bit.
All right. Well, NBA MVP at this moment, January 19th, Deiron, who's your NBA MVP right now?
Did he freeze?
Oh, he froze. Oh, man.
See,
I thought he froze. Come on, man.
Hey, y'all like what I did there? Y'all like what I did there?
I'm like, what happened?
I don't even know who he said. Who'd you say?
I said Steph, but I was joking. I'm still gonna go Bron, man. What LeBron's doing, I know they don't listen, Mr. Half a Beard. I don't know if that's a half a beard. That's just a goatee. Anyways,
Thank you.
Well, a half a goatee.
We got a comment here.
I want to say Steph all day. I want to say Steph all day, but he in a slump right now.
Keep that up while we talk about this. This is scary smoke.
He in a slump right now, but I really don't think LeBron. I really don't think the Lakers are going to keep losing at the rate that they're losing right now. I think they'll figure it out. One thing about Russ, though, I mean, because you look at what Russ did in Washington last year, right? They got off to a slow start. Same thing that he's doing with the Lakers. Got off to a very, very slow start. Figured it out, turned it around, got that team to the playoffs. So I'm hoping that the same thing happens in Los Angeles. But the way LeBron is playing, right now he just can't overcome Russ and the Lakers' shortcomings as a team. But I can't ignore the things that LeBron is doing on that team. I mean, he's shooting very, very efficient. He's basically carrying them, doing everything. He's playing every position. He's playing great defense, great offense. He's keeping guys involved. I mean, there's only so much a guy can do when you don't have what you're supposed to have to win ball games. And if the Lakers can turn it around, which I believe they will, I believe he deserves to be MVP. And if he keeps playing how he's playing right now, he deserves to win MVP. Now, Steph came at a close second for me. If you would have asked me like a week ago who was my MVP, I would have went Steph. Dude's having an amazing year. The Warriors wouldn't be where they're at without Steph's play. Let's just face it though, dude's in a slump. He's just, I don't know if it's because Clay came back and they're trying to rework him in or whatever, but Steph is in a slump. He's struggling right now. Maybe he can get back to that MVP form. But right now I got Bron. Giannis is still in the mix, but he lost it for me when Brook Lopez went out and they couldn't get those W's. The W's didn't keep coming in like they were supposed to. So I gotta go Bron, man. I just love what Bron doing right now, and this is the most unbiased. I didn't want to say. It took me a lot to say Bron, man, but I just respect what he's doing with the Lakers, man.
BJ, go ahead. I see you just ready.
Okay. So what you're saying is two different things. So to me, here's always been the big debate. What does the most valuable player actually mean? Does it mean the best player in the NBA performing at the best? Then you might get a LeBron. But I think what the writers and the analysts and the sports debaters all across look at is a couple things. Are you performing well enough that your team is actually winning? LeBron will never win the MVP because they're probably the most disappointing team in all of the league. He cannot win, even though he's performing well. He'll never win the MVP because his team is disappointing. So that's why I said, if you're looking at just, is he the best player in the league right now? Okay, that's debatable. Is he the MVP? The MVP has to go with winning. And right now, they're not winning. So let's go to the teams that are winning. Who are the top 2 teams in the East?
Brooklyn and Chicago, right?
Chicago and Miami. That's all right.
Miami's over Brooklyn.
Who's the top 2 teams in the West?
Phoenix and Golden State, right?
Phoenix and
Yes, it's Phoenix and Golden State,
Phoenix
man.
and Golden State. So we gotta probably look at the MVP probably coming from one of those 4 teams. Yes.
No, we don't.
Now, don't get me wrong. Giannis, because he's Giannis, and because they're still in like the middle of the pack in the East, and you got the Joker, who's up there in that 4 or 5 range also in the West. They're also going to compete because they're balling out of their minds and their teams are winning. They're in the race. But typically the way the voters vote, they're going to vote for someone who carried their team possibly to one of the best records in the league or very, very close to it. So my MVP, based on what I think the voters, no, because the voters like popularity. Well, I'm just going to give you my MVP. Forget I'm going to go with the best team in the best division. I'm going to shock you all. Brace yourself. Wait, what's the best division in basketball, by the way?
The best conference?
Conference, my bad.
I think it's the East as far as.
Yeah. And who's got the best record in the East?
So you going Demar Derozan?
Ding, 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 ding. Demar Derozan is this year's MVP at the halfway mark. We're at 42 games played. We're at the halfway mark. You got to give him the nod. He is leading a Chicago team who, wasn't expected to be number 1 in the league or number 1 in the East. So you got to give him credit for that. He's averaging 25 points a game, 5 rebounds, 4.8 assists. And his team is number 1 in arguably the toughest conference in the league. Right now, it's quiet as kept because you've got Giannis who's balling out of his mind, but his team ain't really winning that well. You've got KD. I probably would have had KD up there if he hadn't gotten hurt. And now since he's hurt, his team's probably going to fall a little bit. And, of course, Steph Curry early on was balling, but like you said, he's slowed down. It's in the slump. Who has been just right here, consistent, all the way across the board? DeMar DeRozan is right now at the halfway mark. I'm not saying he's going to win it, but right now. MVP.
Okay.
Unbelievable.
All right, Deiron. So, BJ, you're on the right track, but you're missing some details. It's not all about winning.
No, it's not.
When I looked at my MVP candidates and who I thought was MVP, four people I looked at and I considered. I'll name the 4, then I'll tell you the one out of the 4 I select. So Giannis was one of the 4. Ja Morant was one of the 4. Joel Embiid was one of the 4. And Nikola Jokic was one of the 4. Now, I'll tell you why, and then so I'm gonna do this way. I'll tell you why I eliminated 3 of them and got to my guy. Ja Morant, they're 3rd in the West right now. Nobody would have thought before the year Memphis would be this great. However, Memphis is 11-2 without Ja Morant. So I'm like, all right, he can't be my MVP because the team is still balling without him. Right? So Nikola Jokic. Now, what's impressive about this dude, and we talked about it when we did the top 5 players, Nikola Jokic is not only the leading rebounder, the leading scorer, he also runs the offense. He's leading the team in all 3, and he's leading the league in PER. But the problem is they're like 6 or 7 right now.
Ding, 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 ding.
So he can't be, just because off of the seeding, I can't give it to him. But It was hard though, because I'm like, the next guy in points per game average on Denver is like 15 at like 15 points. It's crazy how he's carrying them, because
Right.
they don't have Jamal Murray and they lost Michael Porter, so it was hard. But yeah, seeding is what got him out of there. Now let's continue. Now I'm between Giannis and Joel Embiid. So let's go between the two. So Giannis, with Giannis this year, Milwaukee is 23-14. Without him, they're 4-5. Giannis is only 2 games out of first, or Milwaukee, I'm saying Giannis. Milwaukee is only 2 games out of first place, right? He's averaging 28.5 points per game, 11 rebounds per game, 6 assists per game, 1 steal, 1 block, and he's second in PER with 31.19. Not right up under Jokic, but under Jokic, right? I'm like, man, Joel Embiid, let's move to him. Philly with Joel Embiid, 22-10 with Joel Embiid, 3-8 without Joel Embiid. He's averaging 27 points per game, 11 rebounds per game, 4 assists per game, 1 steal and 1 block as well. His PER, not far behind Giannis, 29.56. So 2 points. But this is the caveat with Joel Embiid. Now, I said Milwaukee was only 2 games out of first place. Philly's only 2.5 out. So they right there as well. This is the caveat, though, for me. This Ben Simmons drama is why I gave Joel Embiid the nod.
What?
With all this drama that with the Ben Simmons drama, and because that was the other superstar on the squad. Or if you don't want to call Ben Simmons a superstar, if we're gonna pluck hairs and say he's just an all-star, fine. That's you're taking the other all-star at minimum off the squad. Correct. Now your second best player is Tobias Harris.
Mm-hmm.
So like I told you on Denver, Jokic is averaging 25. The next guy is averaging like 15. Joel Embiid is averaging he's averaging all his points. What did I say? 27. He's averaging 27 points. The next guy is 18, and that's Tobias. Then you got Maxey with like 16, and then you got the Curry brother with 16. So I feel like Joel Embiid is doing more with less than in comparison to Giannis, because those were my final 2. Because Giannis still has Middleton and Drew Holiday.
Man, the disrespect is Seth, man.
I think they're better than Maxey and Tobias Harris. And you would agree with that, BJ. You would agree with that, Deiron. So, like I said, their win percentage with him, 22-10, and they're 3-8 without him. Oh, and to add a cherry on top, tonight Joel Embiid put up 50 in a win.
Whoa.
So that's my MVP right now at the moment.
Okay.
Joel Embiid.
Joel Embiid is not bad. Not bad. I can't see it. I've seen him play, obviously, living out here. I can go with that. I agree with you. I think the only reason I don't, because sometimes it appears as if he's not as dominant in the paint like he should. He makes me mad, because it's like, Joel, go out in the paint and just ball. Just stop playing out on the perimeter. And I understand he wants to shoot 2 or 3 threes a game. Okay,
the game is perimeter though, so
that's the nature of today's game. But sometimes I just want him to go down to the block, use his feet, use his quick moves, be more of that Olajuwon type player with fadeaways and just dominating you in the paint. So that's the only reason sometimes I get mad at Embiid. I can see you saying why he's the MVP, but I'm like, dude, when I go to the games, I'm like, yo, get in the paint. Why are you grabbing the ball at the top of the key? That's not where you're supposed to be. So that's my only knock on Embiid sometimes, is he likes that perimeter too much. He don't want to go down there and bang, dirty.
I'm not mad at the MVP. I still think it's either going to be Bron or Steph. And I mean,
who will win it? Who I have at right now, who will win it? I think Jokic, if they climb in the standings, what he's doing so far in the league, as far as like you were saying with his stats, it's ridiculous.
He's on pace to have the highest PER ever too.
And they're only 2 back from first place. So no, he's in 6th place. He's 11 back. Never mind.
Yeah, he's 11 back.
You said somebody was only 2 back, but I got it confused.
Milwaukee and Philly. They're
Milwaukee,
both.
that's who it was. Giannis, maybe Giannis as
well. The East is like really, really close. It's like and turn like
the top 5 teams are all right there.
Then there, and you got Chicago. They're missing guys. Obviously, you got Brooklyn. They're missing guys. So it's probably going to be some major shifting in the East. And I felt like you gave Chicago they deserve some credit. They deserve some credit for being really, really good this year. I still feel like you gave them a lot of credit that they didn't deserve.
Win by the end of the year.
We do remember
halfway point. If you gave up your award,
we do know that. Well, because you gave DeRozan the nod because they were the number 1 team in the East.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? They have the best record. They have
he's averaging 25 points a game. It's not like he's a scrub.
No. I'm not saying none of that. I'm not saying he's a scrub at all. By far, I never thought DeMar DeRozan was a scrub. However, you're giving them a lot of credit for being number 1 in the East, and I feel like if Brooklyn was 100%, they wouldn't be number 1 in the East.
Well, that's the problem with Brooklyn. I can't give it to.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. Durant would
have
been.
I'm tired of the ifs, ands, and buts with Brooklyn, man. It's always if this, and this. However, Brooklyn, whatever.
Right now that Durant is hurt, it's too many ifs.
Always excuses with Brooklyn, man.
Well, I'm not really throwing out an excuse there. I'm just saying.
It is, man. Everybody has injuries. Zach LaVine been hurt. Lonzo Ball been hurt.
Bro, what is in that cup, man, that you keep sipping on? You've been sipping on it the